Yo, 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 good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Apex Brotherhood live stream. My name's Richard, and on this side, we've got MGN the Wizard. How are you this morning, MGN?
I'm good, and you?
I'm going to be honest, I'm tired. We were talking about this just before the stream started. My body is like aching. I started to gym again on Monday and really didn't sleep all that well. So I woke up this morning very de-energized, went to the gym still, but body is tired, muscles are sore, just very, very de-energized at this point in time. So I think after the stream, I might just go take a nap before the Fiverr stream this afternoon. Just generally just tired today.
Oh, that's a good idea. Nap is always a nice thing to have after a bit of work.
Yeah, I'm going to quickly play us a disclaimer, and then after that, we'll get into the markets. All right, let's get us some music up as well. Here we go. All right, okay. MJ, you were talking about you were already in a trade. Do you want to walk us through your trade?
Yeah, I am in 2 trades at the moment. So firstly, this is EJ, my bad. Let me go up here. So generally what I look for is bounces and wicks on the 1 hour 200 EMA. This morning we had a bit of an upwards movement. We started wicking a few times. Didn't get the touch just quite, but we did get rejection on the 50 EMA, which I'm happy with. And I then tried to enter at the close of the 1 hour candle. I was 5 minutes late, so I didn't get a great entry, but so far I'm fairly happy with this. Only going for about 20 pips, 1-to-1, with my stop at the Tokyo high. Then on UJ, a similar idea. We had the touch of we had the breakdown below the 200 EMA. We had the touch of it. I was fairly late on this entry. I was supposed to be over here, but we moved about 10 pips in the first 5 minutes. But it still does not look too bad. Again, my stop up above at the Tokyo high, going for a 1-to-1. I don't expect us to get this low, but once we break below yesterday's New York session, I will be trailing it as far as it is willing to go. Both of these trades are small risk, 0.25%, and they are on my new accounts, one of which is a 2.5k Fiverr account, high stakes, and the other one is the 5k high stakes.
And then you were also going through your trade the pool evaluation as well.
Yes. Let's bring up NVIDIA quickly and switch off this. I think I should actually just open that account because it's much easier to do the stuff on that one directly. So let me get that up quickly.
So today I think we can talk about the discussion that Sam and I had yesterday with regards to the RAM shortages and the impact that will have on the consumer as well as on NVIDIA and AMD and all of these companies that are reliant on the RAM chips, as well as the AI data centers that, is basically the ones that are taking up all of our RAM chips. And then I think you probably are more clued up, let's say, with the goings on there, and then maybe you can just kind of like go through your thoughts surrounding it. But first, you can go through your Nvidia trade of this morning.
Okay.
Well, of yesterday.
Yesterday. So, we have been in a downtrend on Nvidia for a while now, and this is partly due to the RAM shortage issue, and it is partly due to some of Nvidia's choices. So I've only been looking for sells. Yesterday, after the open of the market, we had a strong down push, had a little bit of a retracement, touched the VWAP, and then another push down. So I entered on the close of this candle over here with my stops above the wick, going for a 1-to-1, also at 0.25%, and that gave me a win of $61 after commissions. The commissions really on stocks kind of took me by surprise, because you pay a flat fee.
A fat fee.
Fat fee when you enter a trade, and when you close a trade, you pay the same fee again. So this does not go up if you go for a different quantity or for a different stock. This is really cool.
Yeah, so technically, you get the same thing with CFDs. So you get round tripping, and round tripping is dollar percentage per entry and then per close. So that's the round trip. So for your entry and for your close, you will pay. But the way that most brokers work, or the way that they display it, is they immediately take the full amount as if you were going to close, because at some point your trade will close. So let's say you're paying $5 round trip, then it's $2.50 for the open, and it's $2.50 for the close. So when you open the trade, it will take that full $5 in commission immediately. So it's roughly the same, except like what you explained now with this one. It doesn't matter what your lot size is, or your position size in this case. You have a flat fee.
Yeah.
Nice.
Which is nice, because you can kind of expect exactly what you're going to pay for the round trip, and like, this is exactly what I need for break even or to go into a profit. You don't have to do any extra calculation steps. It's very straightforward.
Okay, so this Trade the Pool account that you have now, this is one that you won with the Trade the Pool 2026 forecast, basically, which I think happened 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yes, this was with the Fiverr Trade the Pool joint event that they had. And I was one of the lucky winners of this. It is a 25k flex account, and you get them in 2 variants. I have got the day trading variant, so I'm not allowed to swing trade on this. Any open positions will automatically be liquidated at the close of market at the end of the day.
Interesting.
But the nice thing about this account is I don't have a inactive time period from what I can see. So if I don't take a trade for this month, they're not going to close my account for 30 days of inactivity. The rules are slightly a bit more tricky than the Fiverr's accounts. So as an example, I need to have a minimum of 10 trades for this to be valid for passing the account. Each trade needs to be at least 30 seconds and must be no less than 30 cents of movement per trade. And then the rest is effectively all good.
So what is the percentage that you must make on this account in order for you to consider it passed? Is it a percentage of the...
It is percentage based. Can't remember it off the top of my head, but it is $1,500 I need to make.
So 1,500 on a 25k. So 1% is $250. So if you need to make 1,500, that's 6%. So you need to make 6%. What is your drawdown limitations? Do you have any?
Yes, it is $1,000. So I think that's 4%.
So that's 4%.
Yeah.
Okay, so 6% and 4%. Okay, that reminds me a little bit more of the bootcamp account. So it's like a 25k bootcamp account, effectively. You know, the rules for the drawdown and the take profit is a little bit similar. Because you have 5% drawdown with the first phase and 6% profit that you need to make. But when it goes into funding, then you only need to make 5% to scale it, but you only have 4% available for drawdown. So it's like a little blend. And you're using, not using, the Trader Pool is its very own like trading platform that they use. How have you been finding their trading platform?
I'm not a fan. It's not MT5 or TradingView. So far, it has a bit of a learning curve, but it's got a few smart features which I do like. So one of the things is the built-in position sizer, so you don't need to download a separate EA or plugin for that, which is quite nice.
Okay.
And you can lock your workspace so that you don't accidentally move things around that you don't want to.
Okay.
Another nice to have. But one of the tricky things is each window has got this colored dot on it. So you need to link the windows with each other. So let's say I make this one yellow and this one is green. If I place a trade, it will go onto the green window because the symbol I'm selecting is the green one. I can select the yellow symbol and it will lock it to that one.
What's the differences between the
NVIDIA? What do you mean between the screens? These ones over here?
Yes.
Different time frames.
Oh, okay, so the one is a daily, the one is an hourly, and the one is a 5 minute.
Yes.
So, okay, this seems weird, but why does it matter where you place the trade?
No, it's just how it links it. So if I can open a fourth window here with, let's say, AMD, and I have to link this window with the AMD window, otherwise, even if it's selected, it will place it on NVIDIA.
Ah, okay, all right.
So the way it works is slightly different. It's tricky, but once you get it, it's actually kind of smart.
Okay, very very interesting. I would have thought that it was, you know, like a steep learning curve, but it doesn't seem like it's that bad.
There are some things I'm still figuring out, to be honest.
To be fair, but still, it seems as though the learning curve is, it's something that is not going to take you too long to get, you know, under the thumb kind of like thing.
Yes. I believe the biggest issue is going from one trading platform that you're already used to and then jumping over to this one. And you kind of expect certain things to be in certain places, but they're not. But I think if you start with this, it will be very easy to learn.
Okay, sounds cool. All right, MGN. Why don't you talk to us a little bit about the RAM issue with that currently that we're experiencing, something that Sam and I spoke about yesterday. Give us your point of view on how do you think that is going to A, affect the market, and B, what do you think it's going to do for the consumer?
Okay, so this problem is an interesting one because you've got shortages in multiple places. You have a big push for AI, and you have one of the largest consumer-facing brand closing their consumer-facing side of the business. So, firstly, the demand for RAM has skyrocketed because of all of the new AI data centers that are being built. There's a similar effect on electricity, land, and other tech-related stuff like graphics cards and so on. Everything is jumping up because of the big increase in demand. Now, add to that, Micron is closing their Crucial brand, which is let's say, it is the cheap customer performance brand. So it's not your high-end memory, but it's the best price for performance memory that you can put into a PC. They've decided that they're going to focus solely on AI data center memory, and they are closing that by the end of this month, I believe. Their factories for consumer memory is going to be shut down. Unfortunately, that means for normal people, we only have 2 suppliers of RAM left. One is SK Hynix and the other one is Samsung. And both of them are also slowing down their consumer-facing side of things. On Samsung memory, we don't expect to see price increases the same way we see on Crucial, because they do manufacture and hold memory for about a year in advance. So Samsung phones, Samsung desktop RAM, stuff like that, you'll see a slower increase in price. As a result, people like Nvidia, who are heavily into the data centers at the moment, their stock is set to fall a little bit because everything's getting more expensive and the consumers are not liking the moves that they are making. That's coupled to the RAM as well as the other stuff. Overall, RAM prices are not going to slow down. The way they're going now, we're looking at them going up for the entirety of 2026 up until 2028, at which point we might see the prices stabilize, not necessarily start to fall. Overall, not looking good for the average person who wants to buy a new PC in the next few years.
But it's like you mentioned as well. It's not just computer, like personal consumer computers, laptops. It's cell phones as well. It's other like media, like for argument's sake, Xbox, PlayStation, that also use memory as well. All of these fall part of the consumer side, as you said, consumer-facing side of the RAM distribution. And all of that is basically now being forced into one of 2 companies, and those 2 companies are, those are your only options. You're not going to have any other option when it comes to personalized RAM and whatnot. So phones are going to get more expensive. Your Xbox and PlayStations are going to get more expensive. Computers are going to get more expensive overall. Laptops prices are going to pick up. All of that just for the idea of AI for data centers, which on top of that also costs a crap ton of money in terms of electricity, water usage, the area where they need to build them. So it's the use building up like landscapes for it as well. It's crazy. And you're saying you think that means that's a company like, for argument's sake, Nvidia. Do you think that their stock price is potentially going to start dropping?
At this moment, their stock price is currently dropping, but this is also for multiple reasons, not just related to RAM itself. You also have CES this weekend, so that is when Nvidia does their second largest announcements. It's the first Nvidia announcement for the year of what they're going to be working on, like new graphics cards, new technology, stuff like that for the rest of the year. I believe that is busy pushing the stock price down a little bit because people are expecting good, new, and interesting things. So they're trying to get the best price before CES announcements. And then the other thing is people are suspecting that Nvidia might be leaving the consumer market. So the consumer sentiment of Nvidia is not great at the moment, but it does mean for investors that long term, going into AI the way that they are, it's a good thing to invest in Nvidia. So at this point, it's just waiting for the right price at the right time before people will actually start buying it again. They had a brilliant year, 2025, probably one of their best years on record. And after something like that, you also tend to see something slow down a little bit in the new year before they start pushing up again.
So the interesting thing is then that means if Nvidia stock price is going to start dropping a little bit, S&P 500, the Nasdaq, those indices are also weighed. The price of the indices are also heavily weighed on Nvidia as well, because Nvidia is the largest portion of the Nasdaq, and the Nasdaq is the largest portion of the S&P 500. So
yeah.
That then means that we can potentially see Nasdaq sell off. How strong the sell-off will be still begs to be seen. And it kind of aligns with what it is that we've been seeing over this last while on the technical side of Nasdaq. So if we just look at, I've been marking this up since I think it was Monday, yesterday. You're seeing this convergence, basically. So price is very unsure where it wants to go. And this has been since October. So October was the high point, which is also the all-time high for the Nasdaq as well. Came down, swept a recent low, which was the October low, basically. So it swept that during November. And then since then, we've had this higher low, lower high, lower high, higher low, kind of like dwindling closer to a point. And it coincides with the fact that we're having a bit of a sell-off, or at least we're seeing a less volatility in terms of volume and investment into the Nasdaq. So we're seeing a slowdown, waiting for the price to kind of like just hit the right amount, like you said, with Nvidia and stuff like that, for people to start buying up. So there's a potential that we might see a little bit of a sell-off, or let's say more sideways movement a little bit, up until it might come down and reach a certain point where the price is more attractive to the investors, and then we'll see Nasdaq start picking up again, potentially. This is only based on what we're seeing technically right now, and then add on to what MGN has now mentioned as well with regards to Nvidia and its being less favored at the moment by consumers, but still very much favored by investors for the AI side. So it's going to be very interesting to see in the next few weeks or so. When is this NVIDIA time frame? The one that you mentioned, what is it, CET?
CES. It is a fairly big thing. It is a tech. It's like a technology expo, so it's not just NVIDIA. It's a bunch of tech companies who go on stage and they say, well, this is the plans for our next year or next few years. These are the products we are planning to release. This is where we are standing on these different things at the moment. So you've got companies like Microsoft, AMD, who will be there, Intel, NVIDIA, smaller companies like Noctua. It's just a convention, effectively, a big nerd convention for tech enthusiasts.
But I mean, that's like the equivalent of like the FOMC for Forex, as an example.
You could see it that way, yes.
Because what's going to happen there is going to be the sentiment adjuster, basically. It's going to adjust people's ideas of all of these big companies that's part of NASDAQ. NVIDIA.
Yeah.
Microsoft.
You could see similar movements like an earnings report for a company.
Yes. Yeah.
So it would have the same effect, but this is more a longer term projection. If a company promises something at CES and they don't deliver, that can have a serious effect on the company for the rest of the year. And if the people don't like what they're presenting, that could kill the company's stock effectively for the year or for 2 years or even longer. I mean, this happened to Microsoft quite a while ago when they announced that they're going to have their Copilot AI laptops. People were not happy, and they've taken more than a year to recover their stock price, and they're still struggling. As an example.
Very interesting because you're getting into the stock trading now more because of the trade the pool account that you got for yourself. But
yes,
the idea that you are way more involved in the tech space, specifically the like AI and computer side of things, I feel like myself and maybe Pooley, because I know Pooley trades the NASDAQ as well. I think for people like us that is more focused on the NASDAQ, and then for yourself that's more focused on the stock itself, I think we should have a look at that CES. We should definitely look at it and kind of like pay attention there, because that is going to have a massive impact, especially because it's Microsoft, it's NVIDIA, it's Intel, it's AMD, it's all of these companies whom are all part of the NASDAQ. It's all of these big tech companies. So I'm going to ask you, MGN, if you don't mind just kind of like dropping the date when this is supposed to happen. And then we can drop it into the Discord. And then for everybody who is interested, they can go and have a look at it. I know I'm going to have a look at it because it's going to have an impact on potentially how NASDAQ moves. So I'm interested in seeing that information.
Well, CES starts today. And it will be, yes, it's from the 6th until the 9th. So CES starts today and it will continue until Friday, I think it is, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, so it's the majority of this week.
Oh, wait. I'm lying. It is starting the 7th. It's starting tomorrow until the 10th.
Okay, so it's 3 days. All right.
Yes.
Awesome. So I'm definitely going to go and have a look at that because I'm trying to focus way more only on one asset. And though I'm not a fundamental trader, I'm a technical trader, I think understanding maybe how at least a portion of the fundamental things are operating for the asset that you are trading, I think you should know it. Anyway, I'm going to have a quick little hello to everybody in chat. We've got Sigma FX Trading saying good morning all, morning MGN. You, Sigma, you've taken first place because MGN is on screen at the moment.
Yeah, good morning. I'm here this time.
We've got Unbiased Trader. Morning all, good morning Unbiased Trader. How are you, my friend? Nice. Trade the pool. I'm focusing on NVIDIA and Tesla for the year. I mean, I think MGN, you are our resident NVIDIA expert. So, and you know, like all things tech expert. I think for anybody that is interested in doing something like stock trading, specifically NVIDIA or anything like Apple, Microsoft, and whatnot, good person to talk to. Who's obviously in the Discord. So go and chat with MGN if you want to know anything about the tech side. More on scalping, max 2 trades a day. What is this in reference to, Unbiased Trader? Is this in reference to the Trade the Pool account?
I believe so. It is more towards scalping that specific account.
Are you only allowed to have 2 trades a day?
I'm not sure about that. I'll have to have a look.
Okay. Well, maybe you should go have a look at that before, before you accidentally, bypass a rule that you did not even know was a rule. We've got In the Wilds. Good morning, guys. Good morning, In the Wilds. Elias, how are you this morning, my friend? We've got Annie Forever. Annie Rude, how are you? Good morning. We've got Pooley. Morning, all. Good morning, Pooley. Annie saying Mr. Radagast. Gandalf, guys. Gandalf the Grey.
Yes. Oh, well, if I keep on aging like this, I'll be the white soon.
Yeah, true. I was having a look this today. I've got like a white streak just like running down here. Obviously, I've got like, pepper, white, salt and pepper in my hair and whatnot. My beard is very white here on the sides, but I have like a just straight up like just gray streak. Bloop. And I go white, like paper white, like this kind of like white on the screen. That's the color that my hair goes. It's just one of those things. My birthday is in a month. So I'll be turning 38. And I think you are turning 40 this year.
Yeah. They say the naughty 40s.
Naughty 40s. Let's have a look at some gold. I'm going to look at what I had marked up since the other day. So gold is still slightly bullish is still very bullish on the daily, even though we've had this very big drop off on Monday last week. But very little follow through. We kind of just decided to just make a nice little U shape there. So I think there is a good possible chance that these, we've already taken this one. We've already taken this base over here. We have a base up over here that can be tested. So that's 4,506, 4,519, and then all-time highs against of 4,550 potentially. So on the 4 hourly, we are bullish. On the daily, we're still bullish as well, long term. Even though we had like a bit of a dip, this is just a bit of a pullback. We're still bullish on the hourly. We're also still very much bullish as well. This was that long sell off. We eventually came down, wicked into a base area here on the left hand side. You can see it on the 4 hourly. So there's the rally, there's the base, there's the rally, there's the retest. So I just remarked it, but you can effectively see that it came all the way back down to this point like that, and then just wicked into it. So rally, base, rally, retest, continuation, retest, continuation, retest, continuation. So definitely more bullish on the 4 hourly, bullish on the hourly as well. Low point, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. We're definitely still pushing bullishly. Even though we had a bit of a retracement yesterday, I marked it out, I think on the 5 or the 15. Yeah, here. This was during the Fiverr stream. we had reached a certain point, and I said, okay, you know what? I think we're going to potentially start pushing down and then looking for a test area to react off of, because in this area over here, when we were busy pulling back, we had very slowed momentum in this area up over here around about this 4437-ish price point. So we started pushing a little bit back. It worked out exactly as I thought it was going to. It wicked into this little bit of consolidation base area, and then from there on started pushing up. Initially, it reacted at the end of the day right here, which was another base area as we were coming down on Monday. So Monday we had these areas where price tried to push higher, failed, tried to push higher, failed every single time. And then finally the last straw was this last attempt. And then we just volumetrically sold off from there. So that is exactly where price eventually came back into yesterday, or last night at least. And then just kind of consolidated in this area, just waited for some sort of impetus, some sort of movement. We eventually attempted to break lower. We pushed into this 15-minute base area over here. Rally, base, rally. We eventually pushed into it and started reacting off of it. So this area here, which was the base area previously, now effectively becomes a support/resistance point. So it was resisted here, broken through, and is now being used as support. The question is, how strong of a support is it going to be? I don't really know how strong it's going to be, but what I can see is we have another rally, base rally. So on this, maybe let me just switch this on so I can get the, there we go. We've already had break above, so rally, base rally, a retest of that base area, attempt to push higher, which wasn't all that strong, a retest, and another attempt to push price. So for me right now, gold, although bullish, higher time frame, daily, 4 hourly, 15 minute. On the 5 minute, it seems as though we have a little bit of the same of what we're seeing here yesterday. A little bit of consolidation. I mean, we are making, if this is the high, we've just swept the high. We've already taken the high of yesterday during the market open. And in general, we've been trending or trading, let's rather say, closer to the upper end of yesterday's range. So this movement here, although slowed, still bullish. So it's very slowed bullish. You're still making higher lows all the way. It's just on the higher highs, there's a little bit of discrepancies right over here, where price high, low, high, low, high, lower low, lower high, higher low, higher high. So it's just there's a little bit of that same idea of yesterday, where we're seeing price just slowed ever so slightly, will eventually start picking up again. Same idea here. What I'm aiming for or looking for price to be tested or to test on gold is 4506 and 4519. So this range here, and that coincides with a area of consolidation where price volumetrically pushed out off of this area of consolidation. So I want to see whether or not, or I want to see how it reacts at this point, even though I don't trade gold anymore. Just for the idea, for anybody that is going to trade gold, I think this range of 4506 to 4519 is definitely going to be a decision point, let's rather say. And then on top of that, we also have this high point somewhere over here, which is 4488. You don't really have the craziest reactions around this point, but that was the last or the first attempt, let's rather say, during this downward cycle that caused this large sell-off. That was the last time, or not last time, the first time during this sell-off where we had some sort of bullish attempt. So price can always come back to it, or at least come and try it on its way up towards this point over here. It's not all that strong, in my opinion. there's not a lot of reactions along this point that makes a lot of sense. So we'll kind of like just see how price is acting around where we are currently. But overall, not bad. I don't think that gold is going to be selling off anytime soon. At least on the daily, I think we still have quite a bit to play around with up over here. And we need to, first and foremost, we need to see if we can come and test the all-time highs again. It would not make sense to start selling off from where we are right now, given how strong the reaction was, and we've already broken through it. So we've already broken through this area where it's like sold off really strongly. So slowed, yes, but it's not reacting the same way it did previously. So that is a good sign. It's a good sign for the potential for price to try and push higher. If it doesn't, then that's fine as well. It just you just then take a bit of a sell. And then on the selling side of things, you have base areas where there were reactions previously. Down here that you can test. You can go all the way down to Friday's low point, which is all the way down over there. So if price does decide to start volumetrically push lower, then you can expect it to at least come to a decision point down over here, which looks pretty good. If you pull this one all the way through, you can almost imagine this is a sweep. One reaction or creation, a sweep, reaction, reaction, reaction. So this is actually a nice area. I do like this for a potential if we were to start selling off to come and test. But then that might mean that if we start selling off from here, that we might go into something more of what we saw over here. So you create the all-time high, you start pushing lower, you try to push higher, you sell off, you try to come back up again, you start selling off a little bit. So we might be right now in one of these legs over here where price is trying to push up. If it does not take another all-time high, it might pull back again, but not pull back the complete whole move that it had, and then potentially start pushing up again. I know I'm talking all over the place, but like that's kind of like the idea that I'm getting with gold at the moment. Silver follows gold. So in general, you should be seeing the same idea on that as well. All-time high, pullback, starting to push up. So silver still very much bullish on the daily. On the 4-hourly, we had a bit more of a pullback. I'm just going to switch these things off because it is not a part of the analysis. You can still see higher highs and higher lows in this area over here. So all-time high, pullback, reattempt to take all-time highs, fail. We just kind of like come into this area over here, which is a base area. So that whole section is a base. We just swept that base, started reacting off of it, pulled back into, so this is a break, retest, and then a continuation higher. So daily bullish, 4-hourly bullish, 1-hourly bullish as well. We're still seeing the same reaction, higher, high, so high, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low. So just typical regular price action, just higher highs, higher lows. It's just following the trend. Currently, we have areas where it's a little bit slowed, pushing lower, starts gaining momentum, pushing higher, wants to go lower, starts slowing down, higher pushes. So very much bullish on silver, very much bullish on gold as well. Gold more so, or slower as we go down onto the lower time frames. But still bullish. The same with silver here as well on the 5-minute. We had this whole area of consolidation over here basically during New York session close going into the morning and the Tokyo session open. Nice bullish reaction. Little bit of a slow attempt to pull back a little bit, but if you have a look at the way that it was reacting yesterday during the London session as well, Tokyo, strong pushes, slow down coming towards the end of Tokyo, an attempt to push higher, a little bit of a pullback on London, and then going into New York, we start having a bit of a pull up as well. Same thing here. We're coming into Tokyo, strong push, bit of a pullback. We'll see whether or not we're going to have that another attempt at going towards the Tokyo high, maybe have a pullback and then a continuation, because that's what happened yesterday. The same thing you can see here. Strong push, slow down, pull back, heavily pulled back, and then continued strongly yet again. So overall, you're seeing a very similar price action over the last week or so, from Monday. I mean, it's only been 2 days, but like you're seeing the same reaction overall from Friday, Monday, and today as well. So strong Tokyo session, strong mover. Like Tokyo is very much a mover. You have a bit of a retracement or a bit of a correction, let's say, on the London session, and then again another attempt. But this was a very large base area that was tested. That's all that is. These lows that we have here on the daily, I think it was on the 4 hourly. Yeah. So this is just test to try and break lower, but that was due to us reaching all-time highs. People. I say people, but I mean like funds, banks, all of these things. They're trying to sell off a little bit, get a better price, re-enter again, sell off again to try and get a better price, and then really push the silver price up. So a lot of investment in gold and silver at the moment. Nasdaq very much in that band still, in that area. Right now we had quite the sell-off during London Open, so we were pushing bullishly, even though we did not sweep the high of yesterday or even the low. Started to react strongly down during the London session, which is not normally a reaction that you see all that much. So there you have a very strong reaction, but it dies down quite quickly, and then you have the opposite direction. But in general, you don't really see London have like this crazy reaction the way that we're seeing now, where we're taking the whole of Tokyo out. So in this case, the whole of Tokyo was just taken out basically by this London Open move. Interesting to see where this is going to go. As of right now, I think this area is still in play, which was the base area for, or the lowest point that we had a singular reaction off of, which was over here. We had a secondary reaction, wasn't very strong. It just wicked into third reaction, very weak as well. And then a slowed down fourth reaction, very, very, very weak. But this is the one that started to take this push higher. Unfortunately, it did not take the highs of last night. It did not take yesterday's highs. So to me, today, we're still very much within this band. We're still very much within this higher time frame. It's not really consolidation all that much, because you're still creating higher highs and low, or higher lows and lower highs, but it's converging. It's converging to a point. So very much still within this idea of the converging as well. It could sell off from here, specifically because of the fact that we did not take yesterday's high, and this is the third day. If this one closes where it is now, this would be the third day where we did not sweep the previous day's high, but it will also be the third day where we did not sweep the previous day's lows. So Nasdaq at the moment is in a very, I think, fickle spot at the moment. It's kind of like stuck in the middle. So I don't know. I took a trade yesterday on Nas. Unfortunately, it was a loss. So I entered on the 5-minute based off of this reaction that we had here. We had news. I think it was just after 4. Can't remember exactly when. It was somewhere over here. We had news. Anyway, price. We had the open of the New York session, and instead of price pushing lower, it swept into this base area over here and started pushing up. What I did was I looked for an entry point over here. I looked for my 1 to 2. It wasn't exactly on the open of that candle. It was somewhere up over in the middle of the candle. Going for my 1 to 2, which is my normal, my typical New York risk to reward. started going into profit, looked really good. Got about, like very, very close to a 1%. And then we started selling off. I thought to myself, no, don't worry about this. Just let it, just leave it. And then eventually, blah, it took me out all the way over there. So 0.5% loss last night. It is what it is. It's one of those things. It's part of how it works. I did get a buy. I think it was somewhere over here, but it was a 1-to-1. Wasn't the so that was 0.5% on no, wasn't 0.5%. It was 0.25%. This was a 0.25% trade, so I'm down 0.25% off of yesterday. So first one was 0.25%. Second trade was 0.5%. Oh, my arms are so tired. Oh, and sore. Anyway, that's me. I've spoken way too long. MGN, how are your trades going? Can we bring them up onto stage?
Yeah. So EJ is currently just mostly going sideways. We did have a break below the Tokyo session, the Tokyo low, and I believe we might come to retest before we continue down. We do have a bit of consolidation over here, and in general it's been very slow throughout the Tokyo session as well. So I expect I'm going to be in this trade for a while, maybe a few hours, but I'm confident that it's going down at some point.
That was
EJ, yeah. The only thing that I'm concerned about is we have quite the wick on the hourly, which might indicate that it wants to continue up a bit more, but we will see. And then on UJ, this one is still in drawdown. On the hourly, we also made another nice long wick. But for the most part, since I've entered this trade, we've only been consolidating. I also again expect us to come and test around about this area here. Before we might see it go down again. So far, again, this has been a very slow day. We had a big move in the morning, and we've been only sideways ever since.
So you're just going to wait. Just be patient.
Yeah,
and
I'm just going to wait it out.
On these trades? 0.25%.
0.25% on each, yes. Okay. This one's got a fairly large stop loss. The other one's a bit more tight, but they're effectively in the same place.
You're using the Tokyo high as the stop loss, yeah?
Yeah. Okay. In general, if we break one of the lows or the highs, we tend to continue in that direction for a while. So putting your stop on the other side of the range is a good place. If you break the low and then break the high soon after, then it indicates a change in direction usually. So you could have something like this where we break the high, we've got a very slow momentum throughout the whole day, we do not break the other side, and then a day later we actually get the direction that we are going in. So yeah, we will see how this goes. I would like us to come and test these lows over here or these lows over here, because they have not been tested for a while. And if you add to that the US, the dollar hasn't been in the best place the last few days. So
you're hoping for more dollar weakness.
I'm hoping for more dollar weakness or yen strength. We haven't seen a lot of movement in the yen overall. 0.01%, I believe. Yeah. On the yen index today, it is. Oh, geez, that's not right.
Okay, just double click it.
Yeah. Here we go. Okay. So on the yen index, we've basically not moved much the whole day from the open of the day. So there is a lot of indecision at this moment. We're probably waiting for some news before we get to see what's going to happen.
Speaking of news, we did have the monetary base year on year for the yen, as well as the 10-year bond auction. That information came out today. And then in terms of JPY news later in the week, it's all yellow folder. So I think if the news that we're waiting for is probably going to be New York news or the US dollar news, which Friday is a nice big one. Friday is back to unemployment rate. We have the non-farm employment change. We have, we have the prelim University of Michigan's consumer sentiment, as well as the inflation expectations, which is also red folder news as well. We have all of that. We've pretty much got unemployment claims on Thursday as well. We've got the JOLTS job openings and the ISM services PMI, as well as the ADP non-farm employment change on Wednesday. So tomorrow, some dollar news coming in. We've also got AUD news, CPI year on year, month on month. And then we've got CPI for the Swiss franc on Thursday. So not massive news going into today. Today is a yellow folder news most of the day. But tomorrow we're going to start getting some dollar news. On Thursday we're going to have unemployment claims, and then on Friday is the big one. That is Friday. I am not touching the afternoon session whatsoever. So Friday is going to be a no trade day for me during the afternoon. The morning I can still trade, so I will focus on not trading anything the afternoon. So once the news comes out, everything just goes quiet. I close everything. I go on a little weekend, basically.
Yeah, early weekend, always good, always nice. Yeah, we from tomorrow we do have quite a bit of news. I've started trading the Euro AUD on two of my accounts, and I see there is some Australian news as well, the CPI month on month and year on year tomorrow.
Yeah, that's the one I mentioned.
Yes, but this is also well before I start looking for trades, so that should be a nice one.
So you might see the after effect of that news, and then you can trade if you so wanted.
Yeah. Well, we'll see, because we've been moving in basically one direction for almost a month now. Well, hopefully that can actually change it for us. Trading the Euro AUD has been fairly nice, I have to say.
Are these back-tested trades that's on your screen, or what are these?
These boxes are automatically drawn by my indicator, which you can see the stats for here at the bottom. This is an opening range breakout strategy, and it has 5 different TPs, 0.5 risk reward for each TP. So T1 would be 0.5, T2 would be a 1-to-1, and so on. And
so what T1 is? What is that? You said it's a 1-to-1.
0.5 to 1. So that's a negative risk reward one.
Oh, okay.
And T2 is the 1-to-1 risk reward. Yeah.
64% on a 1-to-1 is good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
This statistic is a little bit off though. This is over 31 days, and there is one specific day where it didn't pick it up as a loss, even though on TradingView it was, MT5 it was. So basically what happened was, we had the break, we consolidated quite a while, and this candle over here was the winning candle for a 0.5 risk reward trade. But this is also the closing candle for the day. So basically what happened was with this trade is I entered over here and it went quite well, got to where I expected, but the moment it triggered the take profit, the market closed. So the take profit was never executed. On the next day, it immediately stopped me out.
Yeah,
we had the rollover. Yeah. So unfortunately, this one was a loss, but it was on my testing account where I was back testing this.
Okay.
But I do have, actually, this is something I'm a little bit proud of. My bootcamp account had $10 left before it was going to be stopped out, and it is now $30.
Nice. You tripled your drawdown.
Right. Yes. So, and this is thanks to this strategy specifically, going for the 0.5s and basically risking, because I'm not going to pass the bootcamp. I doubt I'm going to recover it. So I'm just doing a full whatever is in the account as my risk and having the 0.5 as the reward and seeing where it goes.
So I know Richard Wells trades negative risk to reward. He either goes 1-to-1s or he goes 1 to 0.5s as an example, or 1 to 0.7s. And it works for him. And he's definitely somebody that's worked his way out of like heavy drawdown. So overall, not bad.
Well, we'll see how long this lasts. This strategy has been performing really well. I've tested this over a few months, I think from October last year. And overall, the win rate is around about 77-78%. This month has been, the last 2 months though have been really good, with December dropping down to only about 80%. And yeah, so far we've gone up to 94 again.
That is really good, MGN. That's pretty good. We've got 11 minutes and then this 15-minute candle closes. I'm going to see how it closes on the on NAS, and then I might consider taking a sell. It's going to be a 1-to-1 on my stream account. It just depends on how it's how it plays out now, like how it reacts basically around this area. But if it doesn't give me a signal to sell, then I will most probably just wait for it to play out.
Yeah. I had a very weak close on both of the yen trades on the hourly, but we are getting a bit more downwards pressure, it would seem, from on both of them. Oh, nice. My EJ trade, it just hit full TP.
Nice. Awesome.
Hopefully UJ will follow.
Well, but we do have a bit of weakness in the euro at the moment, but also a little bit of weakness in the dollar as well. So yeah, I'm hoping that your EJ trade keeps pushing lower, mate.
No, I hope so as well. I'm sticking to a 1-to-1 on this one for sells. Once we go over to the buy, to the rally cycle again, I will be holding it for multiple days. Because of the rules. I'm waiting for something beautiful like this.
But okay, so how would you have entered that?
This over here, I'm looking for something very specific. When we are underneath the 200 EMA on the hourly, I'm waiting for it to make a double bottom somewhere on a significant level. This one didn't really reach anything specific. We hit this rally-based rally area on the left, but it was not really much of a significant area. After that, we had the break, and we had a strong break. We broke through the 200 EMA and the 50 EMA in one single candle. This was a 25 pip move on the hour. So over here, I would want to put the entry with my stop loss basically at the low, maybe one or two pips underneath it, and then I would just trail my stop with the 200 EMA. That's the intention of this strategy. Now, if you go back a bit further, you see a similar thing happen over here. We have this candle over here. We are underneath the 200 EMA. We break through both. So I can enter over here with the same rule, my stop loss below the last low. And once we're in profit, I can just trail it. This would have knocked me out, unfortunately, if I trail too aggressively too quickly. But I have multiple entries here that I could take that breaks both of these. The ideal entry, though, is this one over here, where we actually make a new high. This would be the perfect entry, because then I can have my stop loss tighter and then just continue to trail it with the 200 EMA again. On UJ, the idea is the same, and it is to follow the long rallies, at least. Over the last while, we have seen long periods of rallies and maybe a few days of the dropping cycle. So overall, it's not a bad strategy, and this holds basically true for the entirety of 2025 so far.
Okay.
So this is based off Wall's swing trading strategy, where he wants entries on the 200 EMA on the 4 hour. And I said to myself, well, cool, we have an entry here, we have an entry here, but they are so far apart from each other. I'm looking for something I can get maybe 2 entries a week, 3 entries a week. And basically, as long as we are above the 200 EMA on the 4 hour, just take every 200 EMA bounce on the 1 hour, and it goes very well.
Okay. And then you'll be risking what, 0.5%?
0.25 for 1 or 2 trades until I've got a little bit of a buffer on these new accounts. Let's say about 1%, and then I will go to 0.5% and then just leave it from there.
Okay. Looks good. Does look good. I think I've just entered NAS sell as well. I hope it goes on my way, which I don't think it is.
I've not had a look at the NAS in ages.
It's a little scalp. So I'm scalping the live account one. So I'll bring up. So volumetric push lower. Started pulling up a little bit. We started slowing down heavily at the close of this candle. I entered, but now it's immediately in drawdown. Hoping that it doesn't like come too high. I'm just aiming for a 1-to-1. Just aiming for somewhere down over here, hoping that it can kind of like just curve and go down a little bit. So if it doesn't, that's okay. I'm up on this account 1.4%. This is a 0.5% trade. So if I were to lose this one, it's not going to be a problem. I'd still be close to 1% up on this account. So just slowly building this 5K. It's just 1-to-1s on this one, and only when I'm on stream. So far, not bad. I've had a good winning streak on this account. So overall, my first NAS, you can see over here, the 18th of November, I went over to NAS only. I lost the very first trade on the NAS only, but since then I've had quite a slew of winners. So I'm happy with this, the way that it's been growing slowly. This can be a loss, it's fine. We'll just slowly build it up as it goes.
Well, it looks okay on the 1 hour.
This reaction here, though, doesn't look good.
Yeah.
So it seems as though we've had push above, retest, and now it's going to potentially come back up to come and test this low swing point, or potentially this little base area over here. Most probably. 15-minute, yeah. Should have waited for the confirmation on the 15-minute of a drop candle. But I didn't. That's okay. Yeah, so this is most probably going to be a loss. What is the... Okay, we're getting close to the 0.5 fib retracement point.
Your stop loss is at around the
0.618.
0.618. Okay, so just above the golden zone, effectively, or the top end of the golden zone. Yeah.
Yeah, just there. But NAS has got, as you can see, the two lines that we have here. That's the spread. So it's got a bit of spread at the moment. So if the top line touches it, then it'll knock out. But I hope that it doesn't.
Yeah.
I think maybe this was more of an impulsive entry rather than a well thought out entry, to be dead honest with you. Because there is no confirmation yet of it wanting to go lower. So what I can do is I can cut this one short to say, you know what, did not really follow any sort of plan. I can just cut it short, but I'm going to wait and see what this 15-minute candle does now. It's probably going to close bullishly, which is fine. But then I'm hoping that it's going to have a bearish attempt to come back down here. And then halfway through, I can close it, maybe for a bit of profit.
Okay. Well, that actually makes me think of a question.
Okay.
And I think everybody should actually ask themselves this question when you are trading and you're still learning how to trade. You haven't mastered your strategy or your entries yet. So if you do something like enter a trade as an impulsive move and it doesn't follow your normal strategy. So let's say as part of your normal strategy, you have a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio and it's set and forget. So those are your two rules. And you take an impulsive entry. Do you stick to those rules if you didn't follow your rule with your entry in the first place? Or will you look for a decent exit point that would still make sense in the market, whether it's a win or a loss, to cut a trade that didn't follow your rules? Or would you rather just stay in the trade, write it down as I didn't follow my rules in your journal, and take it whatever it is, win or loss?
That is an interesting question, because first and foremost, if you did not follow your rule in the first place, like I didn't here, didn't follow my rule, if I'm going to let it just run, then I'm conforming to one rule but not the other one. So what I should be doing is this. Just close it. Because you're saying, okay, I did not follow my rule for the entry, but now magically I'm going to follow my rule for the exit. Why?
Yeah.
So I would conform more to the idea of the second portion of your question, where it's like, look for an area where it makes sense to exit. But I would say get out of the trade as early as possible and just write it off as, listen, you made a mistake. Like I did here. This was an impulsive sell. I should not have been in this trade whatsoever. So I should have closed it a lot earlier. But there's always like that hope that like, maybe I should have, maybe I should have stayed in a little bit longer. There's always going to be that.
Okay, that makes sense. So I think if you don't follow your rules for an entry point, it is usually better to get out as quick as possible, because you made a mistake, you didn't follow your rules. Instead of just sitting there and hoping, because hope doesn't move the market.
Yeah, that's true.
It might be a good trade, it might be a bad one. You could sit here staring at your screen for an hour, like thinking, or you could just close it, take the small loss and reset, wait for the next proper entry, and you take multiple minutes or hours of stress whether this trade is going to work out or not, and you're cutting that down to maybe a few seconds.
It like also falls in line with the idea of like, if you trade when you're tired, you're not going to make the best decisions. So if you're going to follow one portion of your rules, follow all of your rules. Don't just follow segments of it and say, okay, I'm a set and forget, so I'm going to enter during an impulsive decision, and I'm going to set and forget. So you're following the set and forget rule, but you're not following the entry rule. So you need to balance that idea and say, you know what? My rule says I'm not allowed to trade when I'm tired. I am tired, ergo I'm not going to trade. So you need that discipline. So right now I am tired. I made an impulsive decision. I closed out. I should not have been in that trade. This is, even if it does start like printing lower, this is not a trade that I should have been in at that time that I was in on it. I needed to wait for the confirmation first, which I didn't have. So
yeah.
So just close it out. It is a small little loss. It's a... Huh? Why is it not showing here? It's showing that it's a win. Oh, it hasn't showed the new year. It's not showing the new year.
That is strange.
Ah, there it is. No, sorry, it was just above. There we go. I clicked on the wrong one. Yeah, it's a $13 loss, which is not bad. It's 0.25%. I'm happy with that. So still $63 up on this account, which I have no intention of rushing this account whatsoever. Just slowly just playing around with it. Anyway, I'm going to have a look quickly at chat a little bit. Annie, unbiased trader saying apologies. Back to the school run. Yeah, that's that time of the year again. I'm holding an EJ short from 183475. Pretty sure that MGN would agree with you with the EJ shorts. Unbiased trader saying scalping max 2 trades a day for trade the pool only, just my strategy. Oh, okay. So it's not a rule then. Okay, cool. But it's your rule, so that makes sense. I'm just confused between 2x or 3x on the strategy, starting with 3x but chickened out and closed at 2x. It's still good. 2x is still profit, mate. Good to have an extra small account with your evil inside us, who does not like following rules. That is true. Rather than just close, my rule would be a strategy to manage the out. So under a certain value, I would just close. I'm always tired. I have to evaluate how tired on when to bar myself from the screens. That is true. In truth, I need more exercise to alleviate fatigue. Planning to hit up a big Ewan for some tips. Dude, that's a great idea. Like, I started exercising again yesterday. On the weekends, myself and my brother and my father, we do a park run, which is a 5-kilometer race. And I tend to like mix jogging and walking in on it because I'm not the most fit. I used to be very fit, but not anymore. But I decided, you know what, I want to start exercising a bit more regularly. So I'm going to the gym. I'm doing the same thing. I'm doing the circuit exercises and I'm doing Orbitrek and I'm, jogging on a treadmill and whatnot. And it's just that all of the muscles are now stiff. It's just one of those things. It's, I've got bananas, potassium, magnesium, all of these things that I can add. It's just one of those things. Your body is just not used to that level of exercise. And I wasn't even going like that super hard or anything. It was just, just like 2 sets of everything and just kind of like working my way into it. But you can't do it without the bit of discomfort. It is one of those things. So gotta live with it. Really gotta just freaking live with it. It's one of those things. Good effort, rich, no pain, no gain. Yeah, that's exactly it. It's why am I clicking? Oh, here we go. Wrong thing. It's get comfortable with the discomfort. You're uncomfortable when you're exercising. Afterwards, you're a little bit, stiff and pain. All of that stuff is like kind of like just swirling around you, but it's part of the journey. And there comes a point where it's going to either bother you less or you're going to be less annoyed or less uncomfortable, let's rather say. All right.
We have a friend that used to say, when you gym, pain is just weakness leaving your body.
Yeah, that's true, but don't ask me to go and do a bench press now. Because I'm definitely not strong enough to do that just yet. So, 36 more minutes before this hourly candle closes. There is a potential that we can come and test down here at the bottom, which is what I wanted to do with that trade, but got into it without confirmation. How's gold doing? Gold is pulling back a little bit. We're not getting that upward push whatsoever. It's that slow upward area where we were talking about earlier on the 15-minute. It seems as though it's pulling back ever so slightly. On the hourly, still very much that slowed portion over here, really struggling. Yeah, I think maybe today might just be one of those let's not trade today days. Only bias on DAX intraday. Yeah, that's generally what I do. I generally have a look at the intraday because that's generally where I trade. And in general, I do get like significant enough moves on the intraday. I don't hold trades overnight. I don't hold trades over weekends. But in general, I keep to an intraday strategy. Yeah, I stick to intraday in its entirety. I don't really care where it could potentially go, unbiased trader. So and I try not to trade with a bias because I don't hold it long enough to have the higher time frame bias play a role on my decision in the moment. So if I do look at the higher time frame, like let's say half the hourly, like I said now, I look for areas where the reaction is on these bases, as an example. Now, obviously, that being said, I would wait for it to slow down at the base area and then show confirmation of a directional change, which is something that I didn't do here. That's why I was like, okay, it looks like it, because of the strong downward push, that we might have a follow through. But there's generally a bit of a pullback first and then a continue lower. But I didn't wait for confirmation. So I needed to wait for confirmation, and we're not getting confirmation, and then I entered. So that's why I'm saying generally I don't trade with a bias, a higher time frame bias. I kind of just trade what I see based on what I know from trading. So how's your UJ trade going, MGN? Still running in drawdown?
Still running in drawdown, still mostly consolidating. At this moment, it's looking like it wants to start going up. We don't have a break yet, but we are struggling to push down. We've got multiple attempts, and in general, we've got a lot longer wicks at the bottom than at the top, even though upwards we've got more wicks. But for now, I'm just waiting for it to choose a direction. If we break above here, I will maybe consider looking for an exit point. But at this moment, as we are right now, there's no reason to worry just yet.
Awesome. And then your trade to pool one, you're only going to trade once the US stock market is open again?
Yeah, that will be later this afternoon. The same one for my Euro AUD as well. So
Euro AUD, do you only trade that one with the US stock market open?
Yeah. If I look at my statistics, I can actually switch these on, the Tokyo and the London ones. The London breakout is not great, only 44% over the last 31 days. And the Tokyo session breakout is only 52% on the last 31 days.
Okay.
So the New York one for this has been the better option.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, I think we are going to call it there, guys. I think thank you for everybody that joined us today. MGN, thank you very much for keeping me company. I know that I wasn't the best host today. Very, very, very tired. Very, like, I don't know, just energy levels are just absolutely shattered right now. I'm going to go and take a bit of a nap, try and, build up some energy for the rest of the day. If you haven't already, please leave us a like, even though today wasn't the best of trading days, and probably my energy was the lowest it's been ever. I would still appreciate if you guys just dropped a like, and if you haven't already, drop a subscribe. Anything from your side, MGN, before we close it out?
No, nothing really. Just have a good day, trade safe, and yeah, get rest when you need rest.
Agreed. All right, guys, have a great one. We'll see you in the Fiverr stream in hour and 2 hours or so from now. But you guys can head over there because I think they've already started streaming as well. All right, guys, have a great day. We'll see you guys later or tomorrow. Cheers.